when we look at pricing for a new property, it isn't actually done the same way. You can't actually determine market value in the same way. It's really set by the marketers, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a lot hidden. So effectively, like you think about it, if you're a big organization and you're carving up a huge lot of land into blocks, you just set the price. It's a bit like going into the supermarket and buying your milk off the shelf. It's whatever a carton of milk is. It's whatever that block of land is worth.
Whatever that car is priced at.
Yeah, there's not a lot of negotiation that goes on. And if you do rely on sales data, it can be misleading because there are a number of things that go on sort of under the table that I'm not saying they're illegal. It's just that they're not publicly disclosed. And one of them is, and I was talking to a buyer only the other day, literally 2 days ago, who was saying that she'd bought an apartment off the plan. And she said, oh, it cost me $580,000, but I'm going to get a $20,000 rebate, but they won't give that to me until after I settle. And I said, well, you know why that is, don't you? And she said, yeah, I know. It's so that they can continue to tell everybody the blocks of land are selling at apartments are selling at 580,000, but they're not actually. They're selling at 560,000.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if they actually manage to get a buyer who's not as good a negotiator as she was, someone else will pay 580.
Yeah, well, it's setting a price.
Yeah,
it's actually setting a baseline, and there are other methods that developers use to set that baseline, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the thing that you will not find out, so you look at sales data, and you get sales data from those automated valuation reports that you can generate from a bank site, or brokers can often give you. You can look on realestate.com or Domain and look at the sold tabs, look at what price things sold for. But in many, many cases with brand new property, these rebates, whether they're to the buyer or whether they're to the referrers of the people who introduce the buyer to the property, these rebates are not recorded. So the price, you have no idea if the price you're seeing is the actual price that somebody paid, or if there's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 that has been rebated to the buyer or a referrer and passed on somehow, or and as you say, it's not illegal, but it is really misleading when you're trying to work out market value for a property. And the other thing that we are very aware happens, and you have to dig very deeply and have access to good databases to be able to find this out, is that developers will often purchase properties when subdivisions or new apartment complexes are released. They'll often purchase their own properties in a different entity to establish market price. And these are non-arm's length transactions. If you can't work that out and find that out, then you're using the wrong data to support or convince yourself of what you should pay for a brand new property.
I've known some very successful and wealthy people who have fallen for this stuff. And to give you an example, it's where a developer in quite an exclusive suburb, so this happens in exclusive suburbs right down the wire to
this is not just first-time buyers,
entry level, that the developer's cousin had a business set up, and they bought these properties at about double the square meterage, the dollar per square meterage of the previous record for the suburb. That then was fed to the media. Then the media was reporting record prices achieved. This, that's like free advertising for their PR for them.
And people, how exciting.
Flocked in and was like, that was the social proof that they needed, that these properties were worth what they were pitching them at. And they went in there and they started selling them at this inflated price. And yes, sure, you could argue, oh, well, the market was prepared to pay it. But the market was misled that there was precedent there for that. And this stuff happens.
That's the thing that, and that's the thing that's hard to kind of dig in and uncover if you don't know that might be, one of the strategies that is being used to set a price, starting price, if you like. And it also helps to create FOMO. So if you see that many things are selling and selling quickly, then you may fear that you'll miss out if you don't move quickly to secure something.